Welcome back. Now this week I am looking after probably my most important piece of kit. It is late February, spring is just around the corner. There have been some lambing and calvings coming in, but before it really kicks off, I thought I should do something I don't do enough of and give my truck a good spring clean. Now, if you know me, or even perhaps if you've seen my truck, you'll know I'm not perhaps the most truck proud person. She's definitely there to be driven. And if I'm honest, perhaps she doesn't get the TLC she deserves. I appreciate lots of you guys that watch this channel and are subscribed, perhaps didn't subscribe for videos of a vet cleaning his truck, but that's what you're getting this weekend. I'll do my best to keep it interesting, because really this is the most important piece of kit I have. Like I say, it doubles up as an office, a pharmacy, sometimes even a dormitory. We've got quite a few things to do with it. We've got to clean the outside, we've got to clean the interior of the truck, and then also organise what's under the canopy. I'm going to start with the interior first. This is a job that you can tell I don't look forward to, so it gets put off, and the longer it gets put off, the worse it gets, and the more disinclined I am to do anything about it. The looming spring, the looming calving is probably the kick up the backside that I need to get this done. So, I've cleaned the inside, the outside has had a good rinse off with the pressure washer, and now I'm just rubbing it over with some soap. I must admit, I get no particular joy from jobs like this, although it is nice to see once it's done. I imagine this is how Grassmen fans spend their weekends. Right, that is her cleaned, I would say to the best of my ability, but really it's to the limit of my enthusiasm. She's cleaner than she was. Anyway, I thought I'd give you a quick rundown of how I organise my truck. To be honest, if you're a vet or even just someone with some bright ideas on how I could do it better, I'd be very grateful to hear your thoughts. So, I have the luxury of having a pickup and of having these drawers, I tend to keep sort of kit equipment in my right hand drawer. So I've got some spare surgical kits. I've got things like my thermometers, clippers, stethoscope, gloves, things like consumables. If I get right to the back, I've got bandaging material, blood tubes. I've got some foot kit there, some OB wire. We'll call that light hardware and consumables. And then in here, this is the magic drawer on the left. So there I have all my various bottles. This is Kaz's little pharmacy on the road, so I try and keep it sort of organised. And the reason I have these is because if I have them just out with these sort of trays, they just end up sort of rolling everywhere. It's the same reason I have these boxes for a lot of the gear to go on the top. And I have that because when I'm driving around, they're not in boxes or in trays. Things tend to go left to right, backwards and forwards, and you can have it very neatly organised, but by the time you get to your destination, it's all gone a bit haywire. I don't know if that is a reflection of my driving style. This seems to keep it right anyway. I tend to keep antibiotics on one side, penicillins, sort of first lines, and then macrolides like your sort of Mycotils, Draxins, etc. And then sort of more metabolic stuff at the back, so calcium, magnesium, rehydration powders, topical meds, and then I've got my needles and syringes organised roughly by size. So those are the drawers. I've got a few of these boxes. It's seen better days, but it's still holding up. I don't know about you, but I like a nice deep box. Stop stuff falling over. The top to these drawers actually does come out like that. Can't say I've ever really used it. I think I used it once as an operating table. That's about it. Anyway, and then imagine this is the back of my truck. I've kept them out here to make things easier to show you. That is my wellies in a lovely sponsored by Mole Valley box. That's big enough to get Kaz's feet in. This is fantastic. This is a ready-made surgical kit. So I'm very spoilt. Hazel and Carol do all of our kits, and you can see they come with a selection of syringes that are topped up, needles here in the top along with some blades and some various other consumables, set of uterine forceps, a surgical kit, a prolapse kit, a spare drape, nail brush, suture material, disinfectants, really all the drugs you might need, local antibiotics, anti-inflammatories. And of course the benefit of that is if you are a busy / scatty vet and you have used the surgical kit, the chances of you actually remembering to restock it with everything or have those things scattered around and then need to go on a quad bike out to a cow in a field or something, the chances of you remembering to take everything you need are slim to none. Whereas this, I just pick the box up, I've got everything I need, and I'm lucky enough not to have to wash and restock that kit myself. So I am very spoilt, and I know that. That's just a box with dirty stuff at the end of a call. This is sort of hardware. So I have, that's actually a sheep stomach tube. You can see it's been chewed because some idiot didn't use the guard properly. That is for post-mortems. You see some various butchery gear there. That chisel I use for taking the tops off skulls if I need to get into brains. There's actually normally a cow stomach pump in here as well, but that's being cleaned. Then I've got various ropes, so a couple of carving leg ropes, a head rope, it's a fantastic piece of kit, underused, a lambing head rope, also fantastic for carving breech calves, because if you can't get your hand underneath the hock to lift that back foot up, you can often get this rope, and that extends your reach and helps you pull those back legs up. And of course a halter always comes in helpful. The last box, this keeps some spare waterproofs in there. There's some car stuff like jump leads, which, touch wood, I don't have to use too often. And then some towels you can see under there for if you get wet, and also for wiping blood tubes down. I find if you're doing a lot of cows, they can start to get a bit dirty and mucky, and that makes writing things like numbers on quite difficult. And of course, a bit of duct tape always comes in very handy. And of course, being the diligent, conscientious vet that I am, I always take my rubbish away with me. That's my little bin. That's my sharps box. That's my meds box for things like used syringes. Now this took me probably at least 2 years to clock onto, and you're probably going to think this is incredibly minor, because it is. You're a vet, you go and do a carving, you've got lube, and I've got plenty of lube because you can never have too much. You get there, of course they come in bottles like this, pull that out, pull the cap off, and in theory, once you're done, that cap can go back on. Of course, if you're a vet like me and you go into a carving, take that off, chuck that over your shoulder, half use a bottle of lube, and then you sit it on its side like this, rolls around in the back of your truck, and ends up flooding your tray or truck with lube, which gets everywhere. So instead, you sit them up like that, and that's it. If you're a new vet, and like me, you spend hours de-lubing your boxes, your trays. I can't believe I didn't think of it earlier, and most of you probably would and have. I'm just going to finish on a confession. I often wander around that practice saying, who on earth has got all the bloody pens, and especially Sharpies, and I'm cursing out whoever took them all, and it turns out he is me, because this is just a selection of the different pens I seem to have recovered from sort of all over the car. Back, the rear seats, the front. Yeah, like I said at the start, this perhaps wasn't the most exciting video, but if you've got any tips for me, please let me know in the comment section. As ever, if you like that, give the video a thumbs up, maybe even subscribe. And hopefully, if you've made it this far, I've taken your mind off potential imminent nuclear warfare. Just seen in there that old Vladimir has stepped up his nuclear deterrent to let's get ready to rumble. So it's taken my mind off it anyway.